Lead Director, Center for Social Justice. And we first of all start by thanking you for giving us the opportunity to have a few words with you on an advocacy visit for the protection of the rights of women and the girl child, and indeed every Nigerian living in Adamawa State from violence and harmful practices. So what brings us here is that we know that Nigeria has ratified treaties, agreements at the world level and at the African level on the issue of violence against women and treating women better. And having ratified it, Nigeria is made up of 36 states. It's expected that all the states of the Federation will take action, since they have a House of Assembly that makes laws, to be able to make them state laws so that they can become enforceable at the state level, because the one made in Abuja may not apply across the 36 states. And we know as a fact that women are actually marginalized in all states of the Federation. And how a society treats those people that are marginalized and vulnerable shows how compassionate that society is and how developed they are. So with that, we have a constitution which proclaims that Nigerians have a right to human dignity. But that human dignity cannot be if people are subjected to violence, if people are maltreated or not treated as human beings. So we thought that it is important to come to Adamawa State, because we have been doing a program here for the past 2 years, to be able to help champion the cause of what they call the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Bill, which is already in the State House of Assembly. It has passed through first, second, and even they are going to the third reading, and I understand from the Speaker that they've done a lot of work on it. And when they finish, they have to give it to His Excellency the Governor for signature and assent so that it can become law. But even if it becomes law, we still need stakeholders to buy into it. Who are these stakeholders? The traditional and religious institutions are key stakeholders. The people working in the media, in the House of Assembly, Governor, are key stakeholders. As part of the traditional and religious institution, people look up to you for direction. And what direction you give them, they are likely to follow. So that's why we are here to seek your consent, seek your collaboration to buy into this idea. Why do we want this for you to buy into this idea? Is that it will improve the life of people under your domain. Because if they buy into the idea, their life is improved, people will have more access to things like education. They will have more access to things like healthcare, because all these things impact on the issue of violence against women. Because if we check it, all the treaties Nigeria has ratified, some of them are called the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. There's another one called the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, a protocol on the rights of women in Africa. This one is Africa. We even have a national gender policy, which is Nigeria's policy on gender and how to treat women. And there are all kinds of laws which we have signed, which are in our law books. But the issue is, how do we move them forward so that they can become meaningful? I always use this example of saying, if you go to Gombe State, there's an Amina Mohammed who is an undersecretary at the United Nations now. It was because she was exposed to training that while we can now say, this is our daughter, this is our wife, she is at the United Nations, where even some men may not be able to get to. The whole world recognizes her because we gave her that opportunity to be exposed, to show her talent, and everybody now knows she can do things well. Why are we saying this should happen? It's because even at the level of sustainable development goals, Nigeria has said that by the year 2030, they have to eradicate all kinds of discrimination, all kinds of violence against everybody, not only the women, even against the men. Because when we say it, it may be that people are saying, okay, we are preaching women's rights. No, there are also men who are subject to violence. We are saying, eradicate this kind of violence. It starts even from the home up to people who are doing insurgency, killing everybody, which we are all crying about today. From the people who are doing it in the northeast here to people who are kidnapping all over the place. went into the school. That one, they have not yet released them. Everybody's crying because life is involved. So we are discussing this and promoting it, considering also what government at the federal level has found out is the situation in Adamawa. They say in Adamawa, from the reports we have, part of which is in that report, that book that we have dropped for you, which was a research done by our sister here in Adamawa, based on also what happens across the federation. They are saying that enrollment in school, primary, junior secondary, senior secondary, as well as university or college of education or technology, Adamawa State is falling below what happens in other parts of Nigeria. There is also the issue of early marriage and teenage motherhood. Why this is a big challenge is that it stops a girl child from going to school. At that time, she is busy procreating. Giving birth to children is a time other girls are in school who may be because their parents did not give them into early marriage. And it causes a lot of health problems and challenges for women. Because even today, even in Adamawa, the penal code says that the age of consent to get married, that any woman below 18 years is a child. That's what Adamawa law says. This one is not federal law. It's in the penal code of Adamawa. So we are saying, why can't we ensure that at least if a girl stays up to 18, maybe she will have finished her basic education. And then she can now, if she wants to go into marriage and then procreate and have a healthy child, and also she herself will be healthy. Even the report from Adamawa says that out of every 100,000 live births, women giving birth in Adamawa, if there are 100,000 that give birth to children, 848 will die in the process. While across Nigeria, the number is 576. While in Adamawa is 848. So you see almost 200 and something on top of what happens averagely across Nigeria. And if you imagine 848 women dying, it's like when a plane crashes, we fly a flag at half mast, everybody's crying. Most planes that crash in Nigeria don't carry more than 140 persons. So how many plane loads are you getting in 848? You are getting like 6 planes crashing. And when it crashes, we don't even say anything has happened. We say, okay, everybody goes his way. So what are the next steps we are considering? We are saying there is a Universal Basic Education Act which the federal government enacted. They didn't just enact it, they placed aside some money they used to support states to be able to make sure everybody, boy, girl, goes to school, at least up to junior secondary. We are saying enforce that law, because that law says if you keep your child at home, you have committed an offense. You are not doing well. Give him or her the opportunity. Let us enforce it to the letter, because education is important. Because any woman who is educated she's likely to enjoy better health. Even the children, she will train them better in good hygienic condition and expose them to what good morals which they are supposed to learn. And the second is that we are talking of this violence against persons prohibition bill, which is before the State House of Assembly. It is a very beautiful piece of legislation. So we need your support and that of the community to make sure that the House of Assembly does its work of passing this bill, and as soon as it is passed, also supporting His Excellency to sign it into law. Because once this is done, Adamawa State will join other states of the Federation who have done beautifully well and who are in the good books to say this is what is expected of us and this is what we have done. And that's what exactly brings us to your palace, to this place. And we thank you for this opportunity to present this to you. Thank you.